The Indiana High School Athletic Association proudly presents another championship event. Your network sponsors are Indiana Bell and Ameritech Company. Farm Bureau Insurance, proud corporate sponsor of all IHSAA tournament events. Your local Indiana dairy farmer, winners drink milk. And Accent Herbicide. The accent is on tomorrow.
Greetings from the Hoosier Dome in downtown Indianapolis. Tonight, 30,000 plus will be on hand for the championship game of the Boys State High School basketball tournament between the #1 ranked Gary Roosevelt Panthers, 29-1 on the year, and the Braves of Brebeuf Preparatory School at 27-1 on the year. This means that dream matchup, long awaited throughout the state, has finally come true. It'll pit Alan Henderson of Brebeuf against Glenn Robinson of Gary Roosevelt. Hello again, everybody. I'm Jerry Baker. Alongside is Tom Hessian. Tom, that is indeed a dream come true, not just if you're a Brebeuf or a Gary Roosevelt fan, but if you're just a basketball fan in Hoosier land these days.
Well, that's true, and in the long, illustrious history of this state tournament, we have had only a few occasions where the top two players in the state have gone head-to-head in the championship game.
And the neat thing is that both these players had outstanding games earlier today. Alan Henderson responded with 26 points and 23 rebounds.
He certainly did. You see 3 block shots to go along with it. Here we see him working inside offensively. When he gets the ball in the low post, he's almost unstoppable there unless you send him to the free throw line. And then we see him outside behind the three-point arc, and he makes good there.
One of the players on this Brebeuf squad had 7 rebounds, 3 rebounds, couple of points, not much of a day, but you want to talk about a guy named Brad Hostetter because he really was the guy that keyed the entire offensive game plan.
Well, he certainly had the ball in his hands quite a bit offensively and contributed a great deal there. But here he makes a nice steal outside, forced the ball loose, laid it up for 2 of his 7 points this afternoon.
And on the other side of the issue, if you're a Gary Roosevelt fan, boy, I tell you, Glenn Robinson put on a dramatic show today. He ended up with some 23 points and 17 rebounds, and the fans up north had the lovely effort they saw out of him.
Well, after he saw Henderson in the opener, he had to come through and perform, and he certainly did. Here are a few of his 23 points. Here's the low post play to him, pumps twice, slams it through, gets a rebound right here and goes right back to the hole with it. Another shot that is missed by Gary Roosevelt that he sends home, and watch him on the drive with a full court slam jam to finish it off.
And the same thing is with Brebeuf, though, Tom. If you don't get the ball to the big guy, he can't score, and Jeffrey Graham's job is to get that done. He really ran this ball club much like Brad Hostetter did for Brebeuf.
Well, he had 16 points, and that's quite a bit for a guy that came in averaging about 9. He had 2 3-pointers and certainly paved the way to make a lot of things easier on the offensive end for the Roosevelt Panthers.
And I think, Tom, right now the question being asked around the dome is, can anybody, including Brebeuf, beat this Gary Roosevelt ball club?
Well, only one team has done it thus far. Brebeuf has been mentioned many times that they shouldn't be going as far as they have, but they've only lost 1. Let's see what happens tonight.
And Brebeuf control the afternoon game in that victory over Terre Haute South. We'll see if they can get that job done tonight also. We'll take a break and we'll come right back. One of your network sponsors is Farm Bureau Insurance.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Hoosier Dome and Indianapolis. Tonight, our pregame show will be presented by the Floyd Central Dazzlers, followed by presentation of the colors by Boy Scout Troop 20 from Georgetown, Indiana, Scoutmaster Bill Buchanan. And the singing of our national anthem tonight will be done by the Floyd Central Men's Choir, directed by Michael Neely. Now, please welcome the Floyd Central High School Dazzlers from the rolling hills of southern Indiana. This 18-member dance team, under the direction of Mrs. Pat Kennard and Mrs. Jean Andrada, is the reigning NCAA national champion. So get ready to rock with the Dazzlers and have big fun tonight.
The boys a cappella choir and the Dazzlers of Floyd Central High School in the presentation of the colors and the singing of our national anthem. We're coming back with the introduction of the starting lineups for the opening tip for the state championship. One of your network sponsors is Accent Herbicide. It's the championship game of the Boys State High School basketball tournament. It's Gary Roosevelt, number 1 in the state, and 4th-ranked Rebuff to meet the squads. Here's our PA announcer, Scott Gregg.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Hoosier Dome and Indianapolis for the championship game of the 1991 Boys Basketball State Tournament Final. Here are your starting lineups for tonight's championship game. First, for the visiting team, the Gary Roosevelt Panthers. Starting at one guard, a 5'10", 156-pound senior, number 4, Jeffrey Graham. The other guard, a 6', 165-pound senior, number 23, Darrell Woods. At forward, a 6'2", 175-pound senior, number 15, Ryan Harding. At the other forward, a 6'5", 187-pound senior, number 22, Carlos Floyd. And the center, 6'9", 208-pound senior, number 13, Glenn Robinson. Head coach of the 29-1 Roosevelt Panthers, Ron Heflin. And now the starting lineup for tonight's home team, the Rebuff Braves. At one guard, a 5'9", 145-pound senior, number 20, Brad Hastetter. The other guard, a 5'10", 150-pound senior, number 23, Greg Barber. At one forward, a 6'3", 200-pound senior, number 33, David Roberts. The other forward, a 6'3", 178-pound senior, number 34, Larry Winters. And the center, 6'9", 200-pound senior, number 44, Alan Henderson. Head coach of the 27-1 Braves of Rebuff High School, Mike Miller.
Gary Roosevelt looking for its second ever state championship, and Rebuff going for its first ever. We're coming right back with the opening tip-off. One of your network sponsors is Indiana Bell. 30,000 on hand at the Hoosier Dome in the heart of downtown Indianapolis for the Boys State High School Championship. Gary Roosevelt, Panthers 29-1, Rebuff Braves 27-1. Jerry Baker here along with Tom Hessian and Hilliard Gates, and we're set to play basketball. This is a Gary Roosevelt ball club that was preseason ranked number 1. They finished up number 1 in the final poll. Rebuff was preseason rated 17th and finished 4th. Rick Owens and Bob Beeson. This is a big night for one of those guys.
Well, Rick Owens, his father Homer, there's Rick right there. Homer worked in 3 state championship tournaments here back in 65, 66, and 76 from Modoc, Indiana. And his partner tonight will be Bob Beeson from Connorsville.
You tell me that the father was a little more nervous than the son.
I tell you, Homer was so excited walking around here this morning.
We've got a foul right off the bat. It's going to be against 23, Darrell Woods of Gary Roosevelt. We played a total of 3 seconds. Nobody really had possession of the basketball. So Rebuff will have Brad Hostetter and Greg Barber at guard, Alan Henderson in the middle, and David Roberts and Larry Winters on the wings. They'll face up against Jeffrey Graham and Darrell Woods, Glenn Robinson in the middle, Ryan Harding and Carlos Floyd at the forward spots, and the first rebound of the ball game belongs to Gary Roosevelt's Carlos Floyd. In a hurry, Jeffrey Graham missed the shot. The follow-up is off the rim, tapped up once. Robinson's got it again. Robinson fires and misses again, and the rebound comes down to Rebuff. It's taken away, and in the corner, saved by Gary Roosevelt. And a great defensive play turned in down there by Larry Winters.
Well, Larry anticipated the ball being thrown off his leg, and he gave enough ground in order to maintain possession.
Don't see that very often.
No, sir. It's a great defensive play by Winters. They have the Gary Roosevelt fans and the Rebuff fans seated side by side on the west side of the dome here. Here is Henderson. Boy, what a matchup this could be tonight. He misses his shot also, so Robinson and Henderson both empty so far, but here's the steal by Henderson. Here's the shot up and good. David Roberts of Rebuff.
Well, Roberts gave a little fake going against Robinson and decided that he'd take it right back up. Robinson had a little contact, but no whistle, and there's the contact inside on Floyd.
Carlos Floyd is fouled. Let's see if they put the foul on that man, number 44, Alan Henderson. No, they will not. They're going to go the other way.
Hostetter.
It'll be on Barber. That is the first foul on Greg Barber in this ball game. Inbounded to Jeffrey Graham. Now here is Robinson inside for his first 2 points of the game. Robinson had, well, basically, I guess, 5 slams today. He was an awesome sight to see in the earlier game today when they defeated Whitko 83-53. Here's Henderson off the mark. Here's the rebound knocked free, and it is fought for and taken away on the baseline by Henderson, who stepped on that baseline.
Roosevelt has already shown a variety of defenses. The first time down, they were in a 1-3-1 half-court zone trap. Then they went man-to-man on the half-court, and then they full-court pressed with a man the last time.
With the basketball, Gary Roosevelt. They list Graham and Woods as the guards, but you're liable to see anybody anywhere on this ball club. Henderson on the rebound with the miss by Jeffrey Graham.
Well, Rebuff went man-to-man, but they did not have Henderson guarding Robinson. Dave Roberts was on Glenn Robinson.
It might not be a bad little defensive strategy by Mike Miller, though, and we'll talk about that. Here's the shot and the layup by Larry Winters. What my thinking, Tom, is that at least it takes some of the defensive pressure off of an Alan Henderson. You won't have to exude quite as much effort trying to guard somebody like that. Here's the loose ball, picked up, stripped away. A nice defensive play turned in by Greg Barber. Here comes Rebuff again.
Now they're going to have Henderson working on Carlos Floyd.
And then Robinson at the other end, the same situation, not expending a tremendous amount of energy trying to guard Alan Henderson.
Well, he is on Henderson right now in this man coverage that Roosevelt has employed here.
Here is Rebuff. They've got a 4-2 lead, the second lead they've had in the ball game. Here's the ball batted free. Jeffrey Graham goes to get it. Here's the steal inside. Here's the layup, and that is Hostetter.
Well, he seems to be where the basketball is quite often. You cannot treat the ball in a careless fashion with Brad Hostetter around because he comes up with a lot of loose balls and creates a lot of them.
He does an awful lot of things that don't really show up in the score column on the stat sheet as far as something that's a positive for him, but the coaches and the players and the fans who follow the game know what he's doing out there.
Nice block by Henderson against Carlos Floyd that last time.
Alan Henderson had 3 blocked shots in the earlier game today. Here is Allen posted down low, working on Robinson, jumps over Glenn, can't get the shot to fall. Rebound comes down inside to Gary Roosevelt. They had 2 yellow shirts in there. The guy that got the rebound was Carlos Floyd, and here's the slam by Robinson.
Hey, Robinson does run the floor well. Catches the ball well and takes it right to the basket.
I'm amazed at the physique of the 2 tall centers. Isn't that amazing in high school to see that?
Well, one's going to IU. That, of course, is Alan Henderson. Robinson's going to Purdue, so this confrontation you're seeing tonight will continue for the next 4 years. Halfway through the first quarter with the Rebuff Braves out in front 6-4. In the corner, Hostetter missing. Here's the outlet pass up court to Jeffrey Graham. Graham's layup is off the mark, and the rebound comes down to Brad Hostetter of Brebeuf. Brebeuf is a private school in Indianapolis. Here's the block at the other end by Robinson. No private school has ever made it to the championship game of this state tournament. They got it down baseline. Here is Harding missing, and the rebound taken down by Brebeuf. And the Braves not giving Gary Roosevelt very many second opportunities tonight.
No, they're not. The last time, however, Dave Roberts looked like he was going to have almost an unmolested layup until Glenn Robinson came down the lane and really swatted it away.
3:23 to play in this first quarter. Brebeuf jumped out in front 2-0. Tied at 2, then 4-2. Then they stretched the lead out to 6-2. Now it is 6-4.
Still man-man. Winters picked up there by Floyd. Now Barber's being guarded by Jeffrey Graham. Out to Roberts. Ryan Harding is on him.
Now this man outside here, Larry Winters with the basketball, is not much of an outside scoring threat. Nonetheless, he was a guy that they had to keep their eyes on this afternoon. Inside to Henderson. It is knocked away. Robinson is in there. And it'll still be Gary Roosevelt's basketball. So with 2:48 to play in this first quarter, we're grabbing timeout here. It is Brebeuf leading Gary Roosevelt by a score of 6-4. One of your network sponsors is Farm Bureau Insurance. Stein Glenn Robinson can really put on a show. Tommy's already started tonight.
Well, he takes the pass from Darrell Woods and goes right to the hoop, and bingo, he knocks that ball right down through there and gets Brad Hostetter out of his way as he's trying to head up court.
In the semi-state, Robinson had games of 20 and 36. 56 points on shooting at 25 of 37 and 5 of 8 from the free throw stripe. Here's the shooting early on in the ball game. Not particularly impressive for either ball club. Here's the steal. It's Hostetter. Hostetter being chased out there by Jeffrey Graham.
Now Brebeuf is into the type of game they had this afternoon. We thought that the teams weren't shooting well, which percentage-wise they weren't. The pace of the game was very slow, which it was, and they maintained the lead. And they get the ball inside, and Henderson has finally scored. And they're up by 4.
Yes, this is exactly the kind of pace that they would like to have. They beat Terre Haute South 52-39 because they controlled the pace of the game right from the get-go. Here's a block by Henderson, and it is taken away in there by 23, Darrell Woods. That's the second block of the game by Henderson, who had 3 earlier today.
Well, Carlos Floyd has been a good scorer, and there's a foul away from the basketball on Winters. Floyd has been a good scorer for Roosevelt. He's averaging 14.5, but the last 2 attempts, Henderson's just eating him up.
Larry Winters' first personal foul. There is Mike Miller, the head coach of Brebeuf. His 6th year at that school. He has a record now of 91 and 45. That's a winning percentage of 67%. He was the 1991 Marion County Coach of the Year. In the Indianapolis News, Marion County Coaches Association voted him that honor. He was the 89 Marion County Coach of the Year also. In the corner, Henderson after the rebound. There's a wild scramble. The ball is picked up by Carlos Floyd, and he scores his first 2 points of this game, and it's now an 8-6 affair with Brebeuf in front.
Antonio Lee is in the ball game for Roosevelt, replacing Darrell Woods. He's going to be guarding Greg Barber, as you see right there near midcourt.
He was one of the early subs earlier today for Ron Heflin, the head coach of Gary Roosevelt. In fact, you won't see either club going particularly deep. Their rosters are not that strong down 7, 8, 9, and 10 away, and plus you're playing for the state championship. Flipped inside to Henderson. Somehow he got to it. He gets triple team, has the shot blocked though. Lost it away. It's picked up by Alan Henderson. Turns around and shoots it, and is blocked again. This time by Robinson. He'll fire again and throws an air ball up there. Ryan Harding comes out with it with 1 minute and 2 seconds to go in this first quarter. Tom, it had to be a concern of Mike Miller and maybe also of Ron Heflin. Would those 2 guys get into a little I can do you one-upmanship type thing?
Well, Robinson is guarding Henderson at his defensive end while Henderson's on Floyd, but Floyd takes another shot and misses, but Robinson definitely won that battle.
Glenn Barber came off with the rebound. We're down to the final 40 seconds of the first period. It's Brebeuf 8 and Gary Roosevelt 6.
Just a lot of movement without the basketball for the Brebeuf players right now as they try to set the man free inside, and that man, of course, Alan Henderson.
Greg Barber with the basketball. They're down to the final 20 seconds of the first quarter. 5 in the lower right-hand corner of your screen. Brebeuf is very content to do exactly what they are doing. Run the clock. Run a good, solid offense. Now they got a little trouble now, although Hostetter breaks around his man, gets the ball down inside. Shot is blocked by the big guy, Glenn Robinson, and they'll call a foul on him. His first foul of the night, but he sent a message.
Well, he certainly did. Larry Winters went up from the baseline. Robinson really blocks the shot here pretty well, as you see, but his momentum into the body of Winters. I want to see it once again. There's Hostetter's pass. Here he goes up. And they're obviously contact. Winters right to the floor. And Larry Winters, a 63% free throw shooter, is going to be at the stripe. And Larry Courtney, the freshman, is going to enter for Brebeuf for Alan Henderson.
Winters earlier today had 10 points and 4 assists at the starting forward spot for Brebeuf. He hit 4 out of 7 from the floor and 2 out of 3 from the free throw line. Winters now with 3. He's the leading scorer for Brebeuf. 9-6 you score. Brebeuf leads Gary Roosevelt.
Winters a good competitor. You indicated his shooting range is very limited, but he has a nice stroke on the ball right there off the back of the rim. Time running out.
Here's the toss at the hoop, at the buzzer. It's no good. So we've gone through one period for the state championship, and Brebeuf, surprisingly, to a lot of fans anyway, out in front by a score of 9-6. We'll take a break. One of your network sponsors is your local Indiana dairy farmer. There's the battle I was talking about, Tom Hession, the battle between the big guys, Glenn Robinson and Alan Henderson.
Well, the post play can get kind of rough in there. Henderson trying to get room to shoot. He didn't really go up strong that time. Robinson blocked that one rather easily. But here's one where he does get up, and Robinson is right on that basketball, deflecting it again, and then Henderson finally has to let one go that's a little shy, and good defensive play by Roosevelt.
In the game earlier today, won by 30 points by Gary Roosevelt over Whitco, 83-53. At the end of the first quarter, they were in front, but only by 3 points, 16-13. So obviously, Tom, their fuse may be a little longer at times, and it waits for a while to explode.
Yeah, we got a lot of time.
Just underway in the second quarter. It's 9-6 Brebeuf. Inside to Robinson. He's got a little fadeaway 10-footer that's knocked in the sky by Alan Henderson and picked out of there by Brebeuf. They lost it. Picked up in here by Jeffrey Graham. And Graham wisely brings it out and sets up the offense again. 7:40 to play first quarter, first half.
There aren't many passes that Roosevelt doesn't contest, even that outlet pass after a rebound. And they came away with a steal this time.
Here is the ball knocked out of bounds and last touch by Brebeuf. Then Robinson, Hilliard Gates is a force. These are real men out there playing right now.
It's just marvelous to see their brilliant coordination and how they can jump and how they handle the ball and their aggressiveness.
So the coach is rather calm on the sidelines right now. Here's the missed shot. And it came right down into the hands of one of the Brebeuf players by a surprise route. David Roberts came out with it. They lost it again, though they can't get it out past midcourt. Here's Robinson. No, Henderson's got the rebound. Now Henderson has 3 yellow shirts on him. That means there's a mismatch at the other end down here someplace.
After the third possession, they finally get the ball across their mid stripe into the offensive court. As Roosevelt really contesting him, trying to get away from the hoop.
Still no scoring in the second quarter. We have 6:55 to go in the period. Here's Hostetter outside. He has Jeffrey Graham right on top of him.
Still man-to-man defensively for Roosevelt.
Still a 3-point Brebeuf lead.
And still the same offensive style that got Brebeuf where they are. A lot of folks had done away with this club in the sectional and the regional and the semi-state, but here they are. Here's the outlet pass. Ryan Hardy. Bounce pass on the other side to Graham. And Jeffrey Graham gets his first 2 points of the game.
Well, I thought Alan Henderson was getting himself in a position maybe to block the shot attempt by Graham, but he couldn't get there, and there's a loose ball.
Hostetter's the guy that let it get away. Now Brebeuf's got a chance to fall behind here. And here's a foul on the shot. It is against Brebeuf's David Roberts. And that's the first foul on Roberts. Now we'll get a substitution for Brebeuf. Larry Courtney, the starting forward, coming back into the ball game.
Well, the ball near center court gets away from Greg Barber right here. He loses his balance, falls down. Picked up by Ryan Harding, who quickly looks up the court. There's the inlet pass to the post position for Robinson. He's knocked away, and that's why he's at the free throw line, and he hits his first.
Robinson only got to the free throw line 3 times in that victory over Whitco earlier today. He was 1 of 3 from there. Robinson, 6'9", 208-pounder out of Gary Roosevelt. He's a senior up there. 5 points in this ball game. We are tied at 9. That's the second time the game has been tied. Couple of minutes gone here in the second quarter. Hostetter bounced it inside. And it was taken away again by Gary Roosevelt. There's just not much room, Tom, to operate along that baseline. Graham. And a whistle. You probably heard Jeffrey Graham will be tagged with a personal foul. Number 1 on him.
Well, he had a layup attempt that he couldn't get to drop and then pushed in going for the loose ball rebound. Roosevelt really kind of wearing Brebeuf down right here at this point of the second quarter. As Brebeuf really is struggling to get a shot at the hoop.
But Tom, they're struggling from time to time just to get the ball into the front court. 9-9 is your ball game. Barber with the outside shot, opted not to do so. He's got the ball back again. 5:20 to play in this first half. Hostetter defensively being handled by Antonio Lee, and here is a foul.
He's on the inline.
On the baseline. That is Hostetter again. We mentioned early he'll handle the ball a great deal in this game.
Well, they're really winding up with some situations now. There's no place to go with a basketball. They can't get it inside, and they're kind of playing the perimeter, but no place to get home.
They're tied at 9. 5:05 to play, first half. Low-scoring game, and that's exactly the way Brebeuf would like to have it. Anderson could not put the defensive stop on the driving Carlos Floyd. They bring it out. And Hostetter will bring it back outside and set up the offense.
There's a nice defensive play there by Alan Henderson to get the ball out off the board and down floor.
Winters. A dangerous cross-court pass right in front of us here, picked up by David Roberts.
Right now, Brebeuf trying to keep some balance on the floor and get some distance between the players in order to avoid a double team situation.
Inside to Henderson, and not a good pass at all by Larry Winters. And Alan Henderson makes his thoughts known. Now we'll get some substitutions. Brebeuf will send Larry Courtney back into the ball game. And at the same time, a substitution for Ron Heflin, Ricky Wedlow, 6 foot, 165-pound senior, comes into the lineup for the Panthers. Gary Roosevelt won it all back in '68, beating Shortridge 68-60. Bo Mallard was the coach at that time. They went 22-5 that year. Here's Robinson. Henderson got in his way, and Robinson just lost the basketball. We're still tied at 9. That means that Brebeuf has yet to score a point here, and we're halfway through the second quarter.
Yeah, they haven't had many shots in this second quarter.
Certainly none of any quality. Here's Henderson. Got around Robinson, and his foul, but not by Robinson. It'll be instead on Carlos Floyd.
I think it is going to be on Floyd.
First one on him.
Well, there's the bounce inside to Henderson. He moves in for the opposite side layup on the reverse layup, actually, and Floyd fouls him on the opposite side of the basket, and Alan Henderson's going to the line.
Alan Henderson is one of 3 players on this squad. The National Achievement Scholarship finalist for minorities. He, along with Otis Gordon and Brian Anderson. And in that class, the senior class at Brebeuf, Alan Henderson ranks 32nd. He had a 1300 SAT, however. Otis Gordon on this ball club is first in the class with near the 1290 SAT. Henderson missed them both. Allen has with 2 points so far in the game. Robinson has 5. 9-9 is your score. 3:39 to go in the first half. Robinson just turns around outside and knocks one home.
He's moving out a little bit outside the lane, and Dave Roberts standing at 6'3" for Brebeuf. A little trouble with it. There's a ball deflected.
Floyd save. And a good block by Alan Henderson on the attempted shot by Antonio Lee. Well, there's some bumping and boozing out there right now, and the fans really getting into the game here at the Hoosier Dome.
Like a rodeo there for a minute.
It really is.
Brebeuf's having some real problems. The fact that they can't reverse the floor with a basketball. They can't start down one side and reverse it, keep the defense from ganging up, taking advantage of the double team play and so forth. So they're pretty limited in what they can do with the basketball at the moment.
You're watching Carlos Floyd, 22, guarding Larry Winters, 34, and guarding is a very loose term because he just backs off, and that's one of the reasons they can't swing the ball. 2:40 to play. There he is. He's outside, and you can see the defensive man is quite some distance from him. Trying to keep the ball away from Allen Henderson in the middle. Here's the steal. Here comes Roosevelt again. They got a 3-on-2. The pull-up jump shot is off the glass and off the rim, and the rebound taken down by Brebuff and knocked away by Gary Roosevelt, but out of bounds off the fingertips of Brebuff.
Yeah, Robinson almost had a possession right there and knocked away from him.
And we'll take a timeout. 2:23 to play first half. It's 11-9. Gary Roosevelt leads Brebuff. One of your network sponsors is Indiana Bell. Tom Henson, you were talking about Brebuff's inability to find the weak side man. Here's a good example of it here.
Well, they have the ball on their left front court now. Now here's back on the left side is Roberts. You see, they can't get the ball in a position near the point or middle of the floor. They have to play from the position on the side of the offensive court, whether it's the back court or front court. They can't get in the middle position. That way they're pretty much limited to only using part of the offensive court, and that Roosevelt can very adequately defend.
Absolutely. Here are the shooting numbers for you. Very poor on both sides of the ledger here. Brebuff has not scored in the second quarter of this ball game. They had 9 at the end of one. They still have 9. They trail 11-9. We had a couple of ties and one lead change so far. Brebuff has been ahead by as many as 4. Now they trail by 4. Carlos Floyd getting his second field goal of this ball game, and it's 13-9. And Brebuff cannot afford to let Gary Roosevelt get any kind of a lead, Tom, because with the defensive pressure they employ, you're just not going to get back into the game.
Well, and Brebuff's not a team that can score quickly at any rate.
Brebuff is down now because Gary Roosevelt is on a 7-0 run. Winters inside, missing, and the rebound comes down to Gary Roosevelt's Carlos Floyd. Boy, they get that ball out in a hurry, don't they? Here's Ryan Harding. And it's a 6-point lead for Gary Roosevelt. That's their biggest lead of the game, and it's a 9-0 run now. And still, Brebuff has not scored in the second period. Inside, ball knocked away as the attempted shot was taken by Barber. Here comes Roosevelt again. Harding can't get it. It's off the board. It'll be basket interference called against Glenn Robinson.
Well, you called it just right. Robinson did have the ball in the minds of the official, touching the rim or within the cylinder when he made contact with it. And Brebuff desperately looking for a basket here in this second quarter.
What they're looking for now, Tom, is some kind of a decent shot. A quality shot. Here's a steal taken away. It's kicked out of bounds and last touch by Gary Roosevelt. Off the foot of Antonio Lee. The last time Brebuff scored a field goal was with 2 minutes and 25 seconds to go in the first quarter.
Well, here's Hostetter getting in trouble. Lee deflects the ball, stays after it. There it is off his foot, coming right at you. And Brebuff has possession.
So, Tom, if you look at the turnovers here, Brebuff has now gone over a quarter without a field goal. Ball knocked away right into the hands of Bob Williams, who is the sports information director for the Indiana High School Athletic Association. And here is Ron Heflin. In his 16th year as the head coach at Gary Roosevelt, he's won 299 games. You think that 300th game might be a sweet one for him, Tom?
I'll tell you, he hope it comes this season. Right here.
Right here, right now. The foul is on Carlos Floyd. That'll be the second one on him. And we got a change down the lineup for Gary Roosevelt. Tyrone Hunter, 6'2", 215, a senior, comes into the ball game. Tyrone scored 2 points on 1 out of 2 shooting in the afternoon win over Whitco. Here's Hostetter. Hostetter's third point of the night, his first here in the second quarter.
Well, that was one that was badly needed by the Braves.
Hostetter hits the first, misses the second, but the rebound goes down into the hands of Larry Courtney, who cannot control it, and it goes out of bounds. So 15-10 is your score. Gary Roosevelt has the lead with 50 seconds to go. And remember what we just told you, Brebuff has not scored a field goal this quarter. And they did not score one in the last 2 minutes and 25 seconds of the first quarter of this ball game.
Well, essentially, Brebuff is guarding but 4 men. They have Henderson and Winters all occupied with Glenn Robinson, and nobody guarding Tyrone Hunter with a basketball. And he's not looking at the basket either.
Here's Robinson with 25 seconds to play. He's out long range. Henderson would love to keep him out there if it's at all possible. Now they got it to Antonio Lee. They've gone 9.5 minutes. Scoreless basketball. Scoreless. I mean, they've gone a lot longer than that without a field goal. Now we're down to the final 8 seconds of this first half of play. Inside Robinson. Missed it. Rebound is fought for. Henderson comes out with it. It's a held ball. And the possession arrow pointing toward Brebuff. So they'll have it with 0.3 of a second left.
Well, we're going to see Tyrone Hunter really get up strong here on the missed shot. He goes up and he has both hands on that ball, and he's trying to hang on as Henderson wrestles it from him finally. Hey, Tyrone did a pretty good job right there for a fellow that came in only 6'2" against Henderson.
Well, that's the buzzer to end the first half, but I'll guarantee you that both Ron Heflin and Mike Miller have got some things to say to their ball clubs in their respective locker rooms. That's the end of the first half of the championship game. Gary Roosevelt leads 15-10. One of your network sponsors is Farm Bureau Insurance. So Brebuff goes 10.5 minutes without scoring a field goal and trail at halftime 15-10. A lot of festivities at halftime of this championship game. And again, here's Scott Gregg.
Ladies and gentlemen, we direct your attention to the west side of the court in front of the scorers table for the presentation of awards to the 2 state finalist teams eliminated this afternoon. Presenting state finalist medals, first to Terre Haute South, will be Phil Gardner of Cowan High School and Bill Shepard of Carmel High School, members of the Indiana High School Athletic Association Executive Committee. Presenting first to Trent Batson. Cassius Bell. Brian Evans.
Jordan, watch you play today.
Jeff Hutz. Evan Mills.
Congratulations, Evan.
Toby Stevens.
Congratulations, Toby.
Alan Baker. Brian Kati.
Brian, congratulations.
Jeremy Harrell.
Jeremy? Yeah. Congratulations.
Thanks a lot.
Steve Hart.
Good job, Steve.
Chris Lee.
Congratulations, Chris.
Shan Samuels. Assistant coach Mike Saylor.
Mike.
Assistant coach Jim McCammon. Superintendent Charles Clark. Head coach Pat Brady.
Congratulations, Pat.
And principal Dr. Jerry High. Ladies and gentlemen, the Terre Haute South Braves. And now presenting members of Whitco High School, their finalist Mr. Jacob Delagrange, Director of Personnel of New Haven Schools, and Eddie Pittman of North Harrison High School, members of the IHSAA Executive Committee. First to Brooke Allen. Bill Sears. Mike Wetzel. Steve Nicodemus. Casey Hartley. Chad Ousley. Brad Wilkinson.
Sorry.
Chad Darley. Jeff McManama. Rodney Thomas. Rich Tinney. Jason Oosley. Assistant coach Neil Schwartz.
Here.
Assistant coach Rob Irwin. Athletic director Mike Huey. Head coach Bill Patrick. And principal Arlen Reinhardt. Ladies and gentlemen, the Whitco Wildcats.
Final four medals handed out to Whitco and to Terre Haute South. Good participants in this Final Four this year. We're coming right back. Halftime score is Gary Roosevelt 15 and Brebeuf 10. One of your network sponsors is Accent Herbicide. We are at halftime of the Boys State High School Championship game. It's Gary Roosevelt 15 and Brebeuf 10. One of our special guests with his observations on this great tournament of ours. From the Indianapolis News, here's Jim Russell. Jim?
Thanks, Jerry. I guess if you like defense, you like not only tonight, but you like this whole day. It's been a defense-oriented game. I'm a little surprised at Roosevelt's ability to stop Brebeuf from the perimeter. It's amazing that Brebeuf's in the game. The first 9 possessions of that second quarter, Brebeuf did not get a shot, had 9 straight turnovers. For the quarter, was 0 for 2 from the field. They didn't get a fielder off until the last minute and a half. A couple other quick notes. Brebeuf is out rebounding Roosevelt 17-16, and Roosevelt's only shooting .259 from the field, which is consistent with the way Brebeuf has played defense throughout the tournament, holding opponents to 34% going into tonight. 6 of their 8 opponents in the tournament have shot below 40%. So if you like defense, stay tuned. Jerry?
All right, good point. John Osler, working our stats for us, made an observation. They went 7 minutes and 10 seconds scoreless. They had 1 point in 9.5 minutes, and in the last 10 minutes and 25 seconds of the first half, they had a grand total of 2 free throws. But they're still only down by 5 with a low-scoring game, and that's exactly the way Brebeuf likes it. 15-10 is your score. We'll take another break and come right back. One of your network sponsors is Indiana Bell. This is Jerry Baker, along with Hilliard Gates and Tom Hessian. We are at the Hoosier Dome, downtown Indianapolis. Tom, we were talking at halftime about some amazing stats in this ball game because they had only 2 free throws in the last 10 minutes and 25 seconds, they being Brebeuf, and they got only away 2 shots in the second quarter.
Well, I think that's obviously a concern to Coach Mike Miller, but tell you what would be more of a concern to me right now looking at their ball club. They've been a club that has a great deal of resolve to do things and play hard, but they look like they're a little dragging right now. Even in the eyes, they just don't have much fire, and they have really, for the first time that we've seen them much in this tournament, now gone to a zone defense to open this third quarter.
Ramos Floyd came off with the best shot. Here's the rip out of there by Glenn Robinson. Robinson now with 9 points in this contest. And interesting to note also, Tom, that Brebeuf played the first game of the day at 11 o'clock this morning, so they had a couple of hours more rest than Gary Roosevelt got. But Roosevelt had an easier ball game, and they get to rest some of their starters in the last quarter of that contest.
See what they're going to try to do to start this second half. They've got Henderson out on the floor. He's going to try one off the baseline. Oh, that was a good move. Get him out there, and they have a field goal.
Only his second one of the game, his 4th point night. Keep in mind that Alan Henderson averages 28 points a game. He'll have to get up near that to keep Brebeuf in this contest.
They've got kind of a 1-2-2 zone here. The back 2 really pinched in on Robinson.
Here is Harding with the offensive foul. Wipe off the basket, give him his first foul of the game. 1 minute into the second half. Here it comes again. Right at you.
Ryan Harding tries to go baseline. Standing right there waiting for the blow was Dave Roberts. And he draws the foul.
So they went 11 minutes and 8 seconds without scoring the field goal. Here's Henderson with the near steal, but it's knocked away. And they say that Gary Roosevelt touched it last. No, now they changed their mind. Brebeuf touched it last, so Gary Roosevelt will get the basketball. Henderson was the guy out there.
Well, I tell you, it's tough to get that ball in the offensive court for the Braves tonight. Well, let's watch the zone here. See how Roosevelt attacks it off the baseline Graham.
Knocked away at last touch by Brebeuf. Gary Roosevelt will toss it in beneath their own hoop.
One of the things that might be a problem, Brebeuf has gone to this zone, and I'm sure they've worked on it, but they haven't played much of it. Let's see how they're able to check the men away from the boards.
Well, they got the pass in on the baseline to Harding, and nobody went out to get him, and Ryan knocked it home for his second field goal. Now the pressure comes once again right on the face-up rebuff. And a foul reaching in on Jeffrey Graham. Second one on Jeffrey. 6 minutes, 27 seconds to play in the third quarter. It's Brebeuf trailing by 7. Gary Roosevelt 19, the Braves have 12.
Even though we have a lot of time remaining, I feel that this possession right here is a very important one for Brebeuf at this stage of the ball game.
Number 20 is Hostetter. Brad had an excellent afternoon game, but he's not having such a good time tonight, at least at this juncture. Here's the steal. They put it in 2 points off Carlos Floyd. Carlos has 6, and they get it back to the other end. That's Carlos Floyd again. 9-point leads, the biggest of the ball game for Gary Roosevelt. Good ball movement. Robinson, he has 11. And a timeout will be taken by Brebeuf. They were down by 5 at halftime and not playing very well. Now they are down by 11 points with 5:56 to go in the third quarter. One of your network sponsors is your local Indiana dairy farmer.
Oh, yeah.
In the first half, Brebeuf got only 15 field goal attempts, and they're not doing a whole lot better, Tom Hession, here in the second half.
No, they're having a real difficult time against any part of this defense. Here's Carlos Floyd hustling back, and they try to throw along the winners, but Roosevelt has possession. They come right back and go to Robinson. And Robinson knows what to do with it from the post spot. Turnaround jumper.
That is Mr. Robinson's neighborhood right there, isn't
It
it?
sure is.
That steal, by the way, by Floyd came after he had made the field goal. So
He really does a great job on both ends of the floor.
It's an 11-point lead for Gary Roosevelt, 23-12, with 5:56 to play. Now there's a ton of time, and here's the reach-in foul. It'll be called on Floyd. There's plenty of time in the game, Tom, but I think the biggest concern now that Mike Miller must have is the fact that it doesn't matter how much time there is in this game if his ball club doesn't get it together better.
They could go all night if they can't get the ball in a position to play offensively. Hostetter is on the bench right now, and Brian Anderson is in for Brebeuf.
That foul, by the way, on Carlos Floyd was his third. Here's a turnover directly in front of our television vantage point. Greg Barber turned it over. And nothing is going right now for Brebeuf. This is a battle of the big school against the small school. Brebeuf with an attendance of 613. Gary Roosevelt with 1,706. Here are the turnovers, and look at that. That's an amazing statistic right there.
Brebeuf can't play the type of game that they like to do offensively and turn it over that many times.
The other factor now, Tom, as you take a look at 22 Carlos Floyd shooting from outside and scoring, the other factor is that the style of game that Brebeuf likes, the determined half a dozen passes, now when you're down 25-12, that's gone. Here's the ball knocked away from Henderson. Henderson also knocked to the floor. No foul being called. Right down the lane is Graham. Dishes it off. Here's Robinson scoring. Glenn Robinson with 13. And it's 27-12. And Roosevelt is on a 10-0 run. Alan Henderson inside, shooting over Robinson, missing. Rebound knocked away. Last touch by Brebeuf. It belongs to Gary Roosevelt. And pure and simple, right now, this is Gary Roosevelt's basketball game and has been for quite some time. Brebeuf had only 10 points at halftime. They have 12 now with 3 minutes plus into the third quarter, and they trail 27-12. Nobody went over to get Carlos Floyd. He has 10.
Well, they're just slow with their feet. There's an interception.
Blocked by Alan Henderson. Nice defensive play. There's a block, but a foul called also on David Roberts.
Well, a couple of clubs that have lost but one ball game each, but the matchups here are just not very good for Brebeuf in this one. Speed-wise, size-wise, and ability to run the court. And all of those things are favored by the Panthers.
Gary Roosevelt's only loss was to Martinsville, and Martinsville was ranked high all season long. They lost to the Hall of Fame Classic 66-62. And Brebeuf's only loss of the year came to Ben Davis in the Marion County Tournament here in the city of Indianapolis at the perimeter. And he was this Ben Davis ball club was an outstanding one. They lost to the Giants 61-53, so 2 losses. and 56 victories between these two clubs. But right now, with Robinson hitting 2 out of 2 from the free throw line, it is all Gary Roosevelt. It's 31-12. Henderson. Nice play. Alan Henderson with a half a dozen points. We're halfway through the third period, 31-14, Gary Roosevelt. Here is the run. It has been a totally dominant situation as Henderson comes off of the rebound. Flips it left side and just out of the reach of Otis Gordon. There is Ron Heflin. Ron being assisted by Ron Broom, Glenn Miller, Benny Dorsey, and Richard Johnson. Mike Miller has help from Jim Stanbro, Tim Fox, and Bruce McCall.
Brebeuf didn't stay in their zone very long. They're back man-to-man.
It'll be Brebeuf basketball. They say that Robinson lost it. There's Mike Miller just looking on as best he can, doing what he can possibly do to put out the fire of Gary Roosevelt and light one under his ball club. As they're a little disorganized right now. Greg Barber.
It's his first score today.
Yep. He was shut out in the afternoon game. In fact, he took only one field goal shot. 31-16. Gary Roosevelt running away and hiding right now. Although they miss another shot, the rebound comes down to Larry Courtney. And the ball belongs to Brebeuf. Well, you can see the frustration, Tom Eschen, on the face of Alan Henderson just getting ready to throw it in there. He is really...
Yeah, they've been a little bewildered since early into the second quarter of this ball game.
He throws it away. And Mike Miller with his hand on his hip just to the left edge of your screen really is beside himself. That is totally unlike this ball club, Tom. That's not the way they got to the state championship game.
No, discipline and a lot of ability to handle the basketball and do with as they could. Hostetter back in for Brian Anderson, but the wheels have really fallen off tonight, and it's a struggle for them right now to try and put something together to make a run at this club. And making a run at Gary Roosevelt is not one of the favorite things you'd like to do in a basketball contest.
Ask Whitco about that. Whitco played him pretty well through about 2.5 quarters today, Hilliard, and then their wheels fell off and Roosevelt ran all over him.
Well, the pressure is there. It's tremendous and quick pressure.
There's the ball. Free Jeffrey Graham, who's really quick, goes to get it, though. 2 minutes and 40 seconds of playing time in this third period. 31-16. Gary Roosevelt out in front. They trailed at one time early in the game by 4 points. There's a nice steal coming in from behind this time by Greg Barber. Barber needs help. 2.5 minutes to go in the game. In third quarter, I should say. And 31-16, still a Gary Roosevelt lead. Once they got the lead, they have not even come close to relinquishing it. Henderson, nice move around Glenn Robinson.
They've got to get the ball to Henderson more. They just have to do it.
He has only 8 points in this game. 2 minutes to play in the third quarter.
Well, everybody went to the floor and the ball came free, and Hostetter got there first.
Robinson on another miss. Robinson has 8 points, though, here in this third quarter for 15 total in the night. They got it down to Hostetter. Now they bounced it inside. And there are a lot of yellow shirts all over him, but Larry Winter still manages to pick up a field goal. He has 5 now. And it's 31-20.
8 straight points.
Well, all you can think about at a time like this is the next basket, the next 2 points.
Now near steal and a foul on Hostetter. Reaching in. Now, Tom, as you look around, your point is well made. That's what you're really looking at is the next basket. And you're also looking at the scoreboard and saying, well, we're not playing very well, but with another field goal, we could be within single digits. And
That's right. You're down 11. You're not going to get a 10-point basket. You're going to have to take them in pairs, and you just have to be working for the next one all the time and hope that your defense can do something to keep them from scoring. Get a rebound, then go back to the other end and get your 2 points. But Roosevelt, a strong ball club, as we all knew, and they're certainly shining thus far this evening. Antonio Lee and Wedlow in the ball game in the backcourt now for the Panthers.
A defensive series of great importance now if you're a Brebeuf fan. Roosevelt will be content to eat a lot of the clock and still come away with a field goal to end the third quarter, which is less than 58 seconds from now. Here's the steal. Nice defensive play by Courtney. Lost it, though. Picked up by Gary Roosevelt. Antonio Lee back in front of us in the front court here. Boy, it is physical out there right now, folks. They pulled Robinson out of the wing. Now he goes back in and plays a high post. Talk about a scramble. Carlos Floyd will bring it back out. He is out there with Antonio Lee. Lee has the ball right now. 30 seconds to play third quarter. Here is Lee to the hoop. Dropped it off. And it's saved on the other side, though, by Wedlow. Wedlow to the hoop, and Henderson blocked it and lost it out of bounds. That's the fourth block shot of the game, and the coaching staff of Gary Roosevelt comes off the bench wanting goaltending.
Well, there comes Wedlow's attempt, and Henderson blocked it well.
On the way up.
That's about as long as Roosevelt's had the ball in an offensive sequence without shooting. They took some time down that time.
Which is to their positive side of the ledger. They're up by 11, 31-20. They have been ahead by as many as 17 points here in this third quarter. Jump ball. Arrow possession pointing toward Brabant. Nice defensive play by Alan Henderson that time on his nemesis, Glenn Robinson.
Well, with only 3.4 seconds, it's not too likely they're going to hit a basket here, but the next basket for Roosevelt will be helpful, and Hostetter loses it right in front of us.
Turned it over with 0.8 of a second left.
Hey, that arc became a little too critical. He couldn't turn the corner, could he? Sweep went out from under him.
He was down to the floor trying to catch his breath. He'll get it in. He'll get the fallaway shot. It is off the top of the backboard by Glenn Robinson. We have 8 minutes left to decide the Indiana State High School Basketball Championship. And right now, Gary Roosevelt dusting off a spot in their trophy case. We'll take a break. One of your network sponsors is Indiana Bell. Tom Rebuff scored as many points in the third quarter as they scored the entire first half. Here's a couple of them coming right here.
Well, there's the man that's going to have to try to get him back into it. Alan Henderson made the turn on the baseline around Glenn Robinson, laid it up for 2. And Henderson had 3 baskets in that quarter, giving him a total of 8 points for the game.
Well, Tom Hudson and Hilliard Gates, Jerry Baker, with a crowd of 30,345 looking on at the Hoosier Dome in downtown Indianapolis. Now, the work really is cut out for both ball clubs. There's a look at the crowd from the football press box here at the Hoosier Dome. There were 41,000 here last year, so another terrific crowd on hand for the high school basketball finals here in the state of Indiana. Gary Roosevelt with the basketball. Penetration, jump shot out front by Antonio Lee. First 2 points of the game for Antonio. And still the full court pressure, Tom. And this has really messed up the thinking process of Rebuff. They haven't been able to bring it across and set up the half court.
Well, it really wears you down mentally, too. Every time you have to fight it.
This shot that time by Greg Barber. Rebound comes long. Now they tried to go back door to Alan Henderson. The pass was intercepted. They come the other end. And the basket will not count. It would be offensive basket interference anyway. And they'll call the foul against number 23, Greg Barber. That's 2 on him. We'll let you look at it again.
Yeah, another interception on a pass attempt inside. Brian Anderson trying to get it in, and Robinson intercepts. Throws long to Ryan Harding. You see Barber swiping at him, making contact. And Ryan Harding will be at the free throw strike.
Harding had only 10 points total in the semi-state last week on games of 4 and 6 points. Harding had 12 total in the first game here today and now has 5 in the nightcap.
He's the leading free throw shooter, 84% from the season at the strike.
Half a dozen for Ryan. It's 35-20. Biggest lead that Gary Roosevelt has had in this ballgame has been 17. Behind the back, Alan Henderson inside, scores. I don't know if they'll count the basket or not. Yes, they are. Well, they were pointing toward Antonio Lee. Let's see if he gets hit with the foul. He does. That's the first foul on Antonio. If Henderson the hoop, he's in double figures with 10 now. Would you get a chance to relive this moment?
Well, you don't see a 6'9 performer do this very often. In the middle of the floor, takes it behind the back, goes up, concentrates on the hoop. That was a great play.
It was a continuation play.
Henderson is 0 for 3, though, from the free throw line. And It's 35-22 with 7:15 to play in this game.
And defensively for Brebeuf.
Alan Henderson on the foul on Glenn Robinson.
Well, when Henderson moved up to double team, they had Carlos Floyd open, and I think Robinson was getting ready to shoot that ball back on the baseline to Floyd. Henderson trying to play so that he can double on Robinson.
There are 3 quarters of play in this ball game. Here are your shooting percentages.
43 field goal attempts to 21 is one of the biggest advantages you see there for Roosevelt.
The scoring is in the area that the Braves would like to have it, because the earlier game today as they beat Terre Haute South 52-39, the combined 91 points, the lowest point total for a state finals game since 1975. But they are down 36-22, although they get a couple of points this time from Larry Courtney. And I show that, Tom, was the first 2 points of the ball game for Larry.
Yeah, Larry has been very effective coming off the bench, but he's been no factor offensively until that play.
It's 7 in the afternoon victory over Terre Haute South. Pull-up shot out front by Antonio Lee.
Oh, yeah, Antonio Lee been very silent, averaging less than 3 points a game, really feeling it here to Signing and taking the ball down the lane, and he's hit a couple here in this quarter.
Gary Roosevelt with a 14-point lead at 38-24. The Buff cannot spend a lot of time in that half-court offense. They got to start putting them up and hoping. Henderson couldn't get the rebound. It is out of bounds and carried out of bounds by Larry Winters.
Somebody's going to have to hit one from outside for Brebeuf. They can't go to Henderson each and every time, but they would certainly like for him to get his hands on the basketball as often as possible. But they're going to have Winters, or more likely Courtney or Hostetter, hit one outside.
Kick 3 picked up by Gary Roosevelt.
Antonio Lee again.
Well, he's got 3 field goals in this quarter, Tom. It's 40-24. Henderson outside. Henderson from 3-point land. Outside the arc is off the mark. Now we'll go the other way. Here is Robinson. Flips over near side to Carlos Floyd. Floyd will score and draw the foul. And the foul is on Greg Barber. The Buff won its way into the finals by beating only one ranked team. That was Ben Davis, 19th ranked in the first game of the sectional, 61-57 in overtime.
That's quite a pass from Glenn Robinson right there to Floyd, who drew the foul, got the basket. And Brebeuf's little comeback attempt here has been met by some real resistance by Roosevelt, as they have gone back to a commanding 18-point lead.
Gary Roosevelt had to beat a couple of ranked clubs to get to the finals. They beat number 15 East Chicago Central in the regional, and they beat 17th ranked Anderson Highland in the Lafayette semi-state. The missed free throw by Carlos Floyd, and that 18-point difference represents the biggest lead of the ball game for Gary Roosevelt. 5 minutes and 40 seconds to play, and a double dribble. Ball on Carlos Floyd. Gary Roosevelt has been a state championship runner-up twice. In 1955, they lost to Indianapolis Chris Posadics. 1982, they lost in just a great ball game to Plymouth in double overtime, 75-74. They're down by 18 right now, and they're going to go down by some more if this basket goes in. It does not. There's the follow-up by Glenn Robinson. Unbelievable play. That's 18 points for Robinson. It's a 20-point ball game now with Gary Roosevelt making a ramshackles of the championship game.
Well, Larry Winters got his third field goal of the evening. You really got to get a body on Robinson when anybody takes a shot, because that's where he's really lethal, coming to get that missed shot and slamming it home.
Here's the foul coming in from behind on Larry Courtney. That's number 1 on him. For Roosevelt, their 11th trip to the Sweet 16, their 7th trip to the Final 8, their 5th time in the Final 4, their 4th trip to the Final 2.
Here's the shot attempt by Harding underneath and falls short, but there's Robinson continuing to follow the play right down the lane and finalizes it. And that's his 7th field goal. He has 4 free throws to go along with it.
You know, Tom, what is interesting about this ball club also, when you start looking at stats, this is the ball club that was over 100 points twice this year, 101 against South Bend Adams and 102 against Crown Point. and yet in the semi-state they scored only 42 points in the game and still won. So they can go either, they don't have to just necessarily outscore you with high numbers.
No, because they're such a good defensive team. Right here they picked up another steal. They partially block a pass, and right there's Antonio Lee to pick it up for them.
Less than 5 minutes to play. Stolen by Alan Henderson.
Not much we can talk about tactically at this point in the game, the way it's been going. It's just a matter of take what you can at one end, and they haven't been able to get much, but they did get one from Alan Henderson there that puts him in double figures scoring-wise.
He has 12 points so far in the contest. Here's the reach in by Hostetter, but a timeout had been called prior to that anyway. 4 minutes, 19 seconds to play in this ball game. It is Gary Roosevelt well on its way to the 1991 state championship. They lead by 46 to 28. One of your network sponsors is Farm Bureau Insurance. Tom, it's pretty hard to put together a highlight film for Brebeuf tonight. There haven't been that many, but here's one of them right here.
Well, Henderson knocks the ball away from Glenn Robinson, comes up with it. Here he goes to the other end. He takes the pass in from Hostetter. Low post, up and over Glenn Robinson for the basket. 5th field goal of the night for Alan Henderson.
4 minutes, 19 seconds to play in the game. 46-28. Gary Roosevelt very much in command of the state championship game. It would be their 30th win of the year and Ron Heplin's 300th career victory.
Kind of a nice round figures for Ron.
Yes, very much so. You see the turnovers, and boy, that's been a major story in this ball game. Good hands, Tom.
Yeah, he tried to knock the ball away. You know, he's going for the steal.
Old stone hands down there just trying to bat it away, huh?
Yeah, I played golf with you, too.
Yes. 4 minutes and 10 seconds to play in this game. Almost halfway through now this 4th period. Here's a steal by Hostetter. He comes near side to Barber. Barber shooting outside and missing. Rebound comes out to Gary Roosevelt. Now we'll go the other way. A 5-on-3. What a no-look pass that was. They missed the slam dunk from Carlos Floyd. Now we'll go back to Alan Henderson. Harding's trying to chase him down. Henderson falls down and Harding comes out with the basketball.
I tell you, we missed what would have been one of the best assists of the night when Antonio Lee gave that ball up and they weren't able to cash it in down here on the last time.
Kept alive by Robinson, but saved by Brebeuf's number 20, Hostetter. Brad running the ball club, and we've got
cramp over here. Greg Barber went down, and I think he has a leg cramp, and he's suffering a little. As you can see, it's not very comfortable for him. So a little bit of pain.
Hobble himself to the sideline. He'll make the substitution. Brian Anderson will come in the ball game now, number 21 for Brebeuf.
Now, watching Barber practice yesterday and after seeing him play in earlier ball games, he just hasn't looked like he has been feeling very good. Here he goes down right there.
So we're back to live action. 46 to 28. Gary Roosevelt. They averaged 68 points a game over the long haul of the season. Here's the 3 on the way, off the mark by Brian Anderson, rebounded by Gary Roosevelt, and a foul. And it's on Alan Henderson. That'll be 2 on him. In tournament play, Roosevelt averaged 73 a game. They averaged 78-7 over the regular season. They had a total of 77-5. I gave you Brebeuf's number a second ago. They averaged 68 points a game over the total season. But their tournament average was down to 60, just a shade over 60 a game. So they have slowed things down. Well, they can keep clubs in that area. They're in contention, but not so tonight.
Well, one of the facts that is probably somewhat surprising to the long-time Indiana high school basketball tournament fan, Roosevelt will become the first champion out of the Lafayette semi-state in 20 years.
That is amazing, Tom. Of all the good quality schools that have come through there.
Great East Chicago team that won back in 1971 from East Chicago, Washington.
Here's Henderson being guarded by Antonio Lee. Got it down inside. The shot is off the mark. Tipped up once, off the mark, out of bounds. And Brebeuf will have it. 3 minutes and 1 second to play. It's 48 to 28.
Now, Ron doesn't look too excited about his 300s coming up here, does he?
No, he's trying to be cool. I don't blame him. Henderson. Allen with 14 now. 48-30 with 2 minutes and 50 seconds to play in the game. Gary Roosevelt, once they got the second half underway, ran away and hit. They've been ahead by 20. They were up by only 5 at halftime. Nice defensive play by Henderson. That's his 5th block shot of the game. It's 2-on-1 the other way. Will they get a shot away? No. There'll be a foul call, though. And they will call the foul on Antonio Lee.
Once again, showing you the quality of Roosevelt defense. Brebeuf had a 2-on-1 situation right there, and they really cut off the angle of Hostetter's pass over to Brian Anderson long enough to get the defensive help, and they're still trying to get their points at the free throw line now.
Larry Courtney's played in 7 games in the tournament, scored 52 points, averaging 7-4 a game, and Courtney earlier today had 7 points, so pretty much on target there, but he has but 2 points in this championship game tonight. Now 3. Buff came out of the block strong. They had a 4-point lead early in this ball game. In fact, the game was tied back at 9. But it was at that point where things began to come a bit unraveled. They were down, they were ahead 9-6 after 1, but scored only 1 point in the second quarter. They went 8.5 minutes without a field goal. 2:18 to play. Robinson juggling that way out around the center circle. His ball club is up by 16, and they're in no hurry to go anywhere.
Well, they are very much aware they do not need points at this point.
Here's Floyd running the baseline, coming back outside. They'll set the offense up again. And the Roosevelt fans have suddenly come to the realization with less than 2 minutes to go that they are about to attain their second state championship. For many, of course, it'll be what they consider their first, because the other one came some 20 years ago, some 23 years ago. Out of bounds to Brebeuf. Interesting thing, Tom, is none of the students were around then, and some of the parents weren't around then.
No, but I bet you remember it.
I remember it well.
1968, I remember it well.
Do you really, Henry?
It was a very good year.
It's 48-32. Brebeuf will take the outside 3-point shot. He'll miss that. Hit the clock above the basket, so it's out of bounds to Gary Roosevelt. Ron Heflin. Married, he and his wife Carla, with 3 youngsters, Kelly and Ronnie and Christy. I bet you they're pulling for dad tonight. 48-32. Here is another foul on Brebeuf. And they will put it on Courtney. That'll be 2 on him.
Well, the defensive play all day was certainly a big part of this tournament, and coming in, we kind of had a feeling that might be it. And obviously quickness, as it has become much more important in all sporting events, certainly has been another big factor here in this state tournament. Darrell's first score, isn't it, this evening?
Certainly is. Darrell Woods, who had 10 points and 4 steals. There are the sections we told you about. They're seated side by side. On the left, well, it's not too hard to tell who's winning, is it?
No.
1:05 to play. Well, they're leaving Glenn Robinson right there in there to the end. He and Henderson went nose to nose for 32 minutes. I don't think either one of them sat down, did they, Tom?
Henderson went out for a couple of seconds at the end of the first quarter.
And a foul on Brebeuf. And the celebrating has begun with 45 seconds to go. And already the handshakes have started around. Alan Henderson out there shaking hands for a moment with Glenn Robinson. They have conceded this victory. And it's a tremendous victory for an outstanding ball club. There's just no question, Hilliard, that this Gary Roosevelt club winning as they are now by 17, it's no fluke. They've been good all year long.
Well, they've been rated #1 virtually the entire season, and they came in here to prove it.
There's Henderson, 14 points and 10 rebounds, and the end of his high high school career.
That's quite a picture right
That
there.
is a tremendous picture. And
Look at that.
Keep an eye on this young man around the country, because when he hits the floor at Indiana, Hilliard, I think it's just the beginning of a developmental stage for him.
Well, he's a marvelous physical specimen.
And here is Robinson. He'll be going to Purdue, and they will lock horns on a number of occasions, and that just should make that IU-Purdue rivalry get even stronger, Tom.
Well, it's a lot for Indiana basketball fans to look forward to, and there's a picture of real happiness on the Roosevelt sideline.
22 points and 10 rebounds for Glenn Robinson. He had 23 points and 17 rebounds earlier today. He had an all-star day, no question about it. And the question is, where will he and Henderson end up in the Mr. Basketball race? Ball kicked way back into the seats back here behind us. So Alan Henderson, 14 points, 10 rebounds. Glenn Robinson, 22 points, 10 rebounds. Nice effort by both the guys, Tom, and they had to feel the pressure in this ball game.
Well, they certainly did, and it was a situation where Robinson certainly got the better of it here tonight. A lot of things, of course, being a factor there, but you got to give the man credit. He came in here and did a job.
He did, with a lot of pressure on him. He had told his teammates, I don't care about Mr. Basketball, I want a state championship.
Well, the way things went tonight, he may get both.
We have 6 seconds remaining in this ball game. Alan Henderson. Well, he's had a tremendous career. Well, they've had some great successes at with the girls and the guys up there at Brabant. They took the girls to the Final Four in 1982. Alan Vickery did. They lost in the afternoon game. They have the boys have won the state tennis championship on one occasion, and the girls have 5 championship trophies in tennis.
Well, it's a quality school there. No question about that, and they do things well in everything they pursue.
3 seconds, 2, 1. It's all over at the Hoosier Dome. 30,345 to witness a 51-32 victory by Gary Roosevelt for the high school state championship. The celebrating has just begun. We'll take a break and come back with the post-game ceremonies. One of your network sponsors is Accent Herbicide.
We're coming down. Ron Heffern, congratulations, a magnificent victory here tonight.
All right, thank you, Hilliard. It was a hard-fought one, and we beat a very good B-Buff team, but maybe it's our time.
You went a long time here as #1 in this state of Indiana, and you proved it out here tonight with just an absolutely magnificent performance, both offensively and defensively.
Well, they did. I thought our defense, the first half, we only had 15 points, but our defense has remained constant and good all year, and that's been the secret to this ball club. Glenn Robinson and magnificent defense.
How do you rate Glenn Robinson among the young men that you've coached?
Well, he's one of the top ones. I don't like to get into the best team, the best players, but he certainly would be one of the top players I've ever coached.
Did you think back at all to 1982 tonight? Is this avenging that ball game?
Well, they say, Hilliard, that 3 times is a charm, and we lost the first 2, so this is the charm in terms of us winning.
What about defense? You work so diligently on defense, and defense has become a major part of your ball club here.
Right, it does. We spend, in fact, 80% of our practice time on defense, and because we believe if we put together a good defense, our offense will take care of itself. So 80% of our practice time is spent on defense.
Final moment, Glenn Robinson, spectacular.
He's some kind of ball player, a good kid, too.
And a fine young man.
Serious, certainly.
Congratulations to you, Ron.
I thank you, Hilliard. Thanks.
All right, let's go back to Jerry.
Ron Heflin picks up his 300th win against 85 defeats, but more importantly, a state championship. A break now. Coming right back. One of your network sponsors is Indiana Bell. Back at the Hoosier Dome, time to hand out the trophies and the medals. Again, Scott Gregg.
Ladies and gentlemen, we direct your attention to the platform at the center court where the runner-up medals will be presented to team members of Brebeuf High School by Mr. Bill Shepard, assisted by Mr. Phil Gardner, members of the IHSAA Executive Committee. Presenting medals first to Brian Anderson. Greg Barber. Larry Courtney. Otis Gordon. Alan Henderson. Brad Hostetter. John McCrae. Nathan Miller. Mark Moss. David Roberts. Alex Walker. Larry Winters. Assistant coach Jim Stanbro. Brother Pat Sheehy, president of Brebeuf. Athletic director Dan Holland.
Dan, how you doing? Pretty good. Thank you. Thanks.
Head coach Mike Miller. And principal Father Jim Steger.
Thank you very much, brother. Great job.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the presentation of the runner-up trophy and game ball to be presented by Mr. Bill Shepard, a member of the IHSAA Executive Committee. Ladies and gentlemen, your runner-up for 1991, the Brebeuf Braves.
Michael, let's go, Michael.
Brebeuf Braves finish up the season 28 wins and 1 loss, 2 losses, 27 wins and 2 losses. And Tom, that last loss is the one. At the meeting on a Monday, they always tell you, please advise your squad that everybody but one team in the state of Indiana will end its season on a loss. It's a tough one.
Well, it certainly is when you've had this kind of success throughout the campaign. And I think one thing you're going to find out is the fact that when tomorrow morning comes and the next day that they were defeated by an outstanding basketball team.
All right, now let's meet the winners. Again, Scott Gregg.
The 1991 Indiana High School Athletic Association state champion, Gary Roosevelt Panthers. Presenting the championship medals will be Mr. Paul Rommelman and Mr. Eddie Pittman, members of the IHSAA Executive Committee. Presenting first to Michael Hudson. Jeffrey Graham.
Congratulations, our champ.
Antonio Lee.
Congratulations.
Glenn Robinson.
Congratulations, our champ.
Ryan Harding.
Congratulations. Thanks a lot.
Ricky Wedlow. Carlos
I like that
Floyd.
Congratulations. How does it feel to be a champion?
Daryl Woods.
Congratulations. Good job.
Justin Harris.
Congratulations. How does it feel to be a champion?
Carlos Murray.
Congratulations.
Tyrone Hunter.
Congratulations, Tyrone.
Richard Berry.
Congratulations.
Athletic Director John R. Campbell.
Congratulations.
How you doing?
Good. How you doing?
All right.
You got him right.
Assistant Coach Ronald Broom.
Congratulations, coach.
Thank you. Thank you.
Get it hung up there. All right.
Thank you.
Head Coach Ron Heflin.
Some years ago, I that blue look.
Principal David Williams.
Nice to be in the principal. Congratulations. Thank you.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the presentation of the championship trophy and game ball to your 1991 state champion, Gary Roosevelt Panthers, presented by Mr. Paul Rubberman and Eddie Pittman.
The thrill of victory. Gary Roosevelt, the state champs, with a 30-1 record on the year. The most coveted individual award perhaps in all of high school sports is coming up. That's the Trester Award. We'll return to get that for you in just a moment. Our break, one of your network sponsors is Farm Bureau Insurance. We're back live now at the Hoosier Dome, downtown Indianapolis. Jerry Baker, Hilliard Gates, Tom Hessian. And Tom, the thrill of victory is nothing ever quite exceeded by anything other than this particular moment right here. And the photographers taking their pictures. This is a moment these young men will take with them throughout the rest of their lives.
Well, there's no doubt about that. The individuals that I've known that have been involved in that type of situation, why, that's something that they talk about forever, like to reminisce about, and certainly one of the real thrills of athletic participation, and particularly here in the state of Indiana. I think we've got a few things, Jerry, real quickly. Rebuff attempted 33 field goals. Gary Roosevelt 54. Quite an edge there. 13 of 17 free throws were successful for the Panthers. Rebuff only 4 of 10. Rebuff turned it over 28 times. Roosevelt 15. And therein are the statistical differences that can tell us real quickly who won this state championship.
And Rebuff just scored 1 point in the third quarter. Let's go back across the court now to Scott Gregg again.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have one final presentation to be made. It's my honor at this time to introduce Mr. Jacob Delagrange, Director of Personnel, New Haven Community Schools, and a member of the IHSAA Executive Committee, who will make the presentation of the 1991 Mental Attitude Award.
A Mental Attitude Award is presented in each of the 18 IHSAA sports. Farm Bureau Insurance, the proud corporate sponsor of all tournament events, will award a $1,000 scholarship to the school's scholarship fund in the name of the recipient. I would also invite the parents of the recipient to come to the awards stand to share in this honor. The recipient of this award, while a student in grade 12, was nominated by his principal and coach, excelled in mental attitude, athletic ability, scholarship, and leadership during the 4 years of high school. Also participated as a state finalist in the sport and was selected by members of the IHSAA Executive Committee. The 1991 winner from Whitco High School, Steve Nicodemus.
Network sponsors for the night is your local Indiana dairy farmer. Well, the Trester Award goes to Steve Nicodemus of Whitko High School. Let's meet him right now. Hilliard Gates is up on the platform, and Steve's parents are now making their way up there likewise. Steve Nicodemus in the afternoon game today finished up with 22 points. And let's go up now to Hilliard Gates.
Well, thank you very much, Jerry. The photographers, as you can see, are taking this picture with Steve's proud, wonderful parents here with great emotion. This is really an outstanding presentation. I've known this young man for a great number of years and telecast some of his games, and I'm going to put the microphone in this hand, Steve, and I'm going to congratulate you with this hand. This has got to be a great thrill for you.
Yeah, it's very unexpected. I figured either Alan Henderson would get it, so it's a great feeling right now.
Tell me about the ball game this afternoon. That was really a tremendous ball game.
Yeah, Roosevelt's a great team, as they proved tonight. It makes us feel a little bit better about the way we play, beating Rebuff by 19, so they're a great team.
Steve, you were absolutely superb in South Bend last Saturday with those 61 points, and you propelled your team into this appearance here today.
Well, it's just a total team effort all year, and the other guys really picked it up and helped me out, and I'm really proud of all the guys on my team.
Kind of a great average you maintain at Whitko.
An A- GPA. We're on a 12-point scale there, so it's different.
Is it true that you would like to be associated with a farm when you get out of college?
I'd like to be related in some kind of agriculture field and managing.
Have you been contacted by many schools in recent weeks?
This last week, ever since semi-states really picked up as far as recruiting, so yeah.
Do you have a school chosen, a favorite school? Or, I guess it wouldn't be fair to talk about that right now, would it?
Not right now.
Steve, congratulations. I know this helps a little bit from the defeat today. You were marvelous.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Let me talk to your parents, may I? Your name?
Larry.
Larry, and your name?
Alice.
How do you feel?
Wonderful. Wonderful. This is great.
Well, he is an outstanding young man, a great student, a marvelous basketball player. He has excellent coordination, and he's a gentleman and has a marvelous personality.
I appreciate all that, those kind words. That's very nice.
Well,
Thank
you know, I've known him for a long time. How do you feel, sir?
Very proud. Very proud.
Are you happy with everything that he has in the future plans?
Oh, yes. We've been happy with everything that's going on so far, more than we ever anticipated.
What's his favorite subject?
Mine or his?
No, his. I know what yours is, watching basketball.
I don't really know what his favorite one is. I suppose it's agriculture.
Okay, is that your favorite subject?
One of them, yeah.
You have anything else you want to say to this great young man?
I want to say that this is great for Steve, but his whole team contributed to this. We sure love them all.
Well, that's a great line. Congratulations to all of you. Congratulations, Steve. Now back to Jared.
All right, thank you, Hilliard. Thank you, the Nicodemus family. Steve set single season and career school scoring records for Whitko, and he was 8th in the senior class academically. A couple of notes here before we take another break. This was the lowest total points for both teams, 83, since 1954, when Milan beat Muncie Central 32-30, a grand total of 62 points in that ball game. It is the lowest losing score, 32, since 1954 in that ball game between the Milan Indians and the Muncie Central Bearcats, which is one of those great games that lives in infamy, I guess, forever.
That's kind of a benchmark to anything that occurred after that.
And if you saw the movie Hoosiers, that's basically what we were talking about. This was a tough ball game for Brebeuf in the third quarter. Tom, they didn't get a field goal the entire quarter. As a matter of fact, they went the last 2.5 minutes of the second and all of the third quarter without scoring a field goal.
Well, the problems began back early in the second quarter when they really wound up in some real difficult offensive situations, created basically by the Roosevelt defense, of course, and they really could not get anything established offensively, just kind of picking what they could here and there didn't come very often because they didn't really get many shots.
Now, this was an excellent effort by an outstanding ball club on the part of Gary Roosevelt. We're putting our final stats together. We'll come back and take a look at those and get some final comments in just a moment. Again, your final score is 51-32. Gary Roosevelt picks up the 1991 State Basketball Championship. One of your network sponsors tonight is Indiana Bell. And here are the final numbers on this ball game tonight, and the glaring number that jumps out is 19-54 versus 14-33.
Well, it certainly is, even though Brebeuf percentage-wise winds up with a little better shooting high this evening, but the 54-33 in attempts certainly overwhelming. Great free throw shooting for the Panthers here this evening. Rebounds pretty even, but 13 more turnovers for Brebeuf, and certainly that created by a defense that it's one of the toughest defenses we've seen in the state finals for quite some time.
Well, just a quick glance at the individual numbers as you look at the folks who helped to make our telecast possible throughout the day. Brebeuf is led in scoring by Alan Henderson. Alan had 14 points, and he had 10 rebounds in this ball game. And Glenn Robinson with 22 points and 10 boards. Both those guys were the keys individually, Tom, that the crowd and the media was focused in on tonight. They did not disappoint necessarily.
No, they didn't.
So the final score again is 51-32. Other scoring leaders for Gary Roosevelt, Carlos Floyd with a dozen points. In fact, he was the only other player to score in double figures. And for Brebeuf, it's a bitter end to a sensational season for the folks from the school on the north side of town.
Well, it is a very satisfying season, I know, for the people associated with their athletic program. They're proud as can be of this club. The entire, as we mentioned previously, the entire program at Brebeuf is done in a quality fashion up there on the north side. They do things, as we indicated, that on this weekend they had a chess championship, people involved in that.
And a speech championship
speech
also.
championship, so they do things very well. And we see the end of a career tonight of one of the outstanding basketball players in Marion County history, Alan Henderson.
Basically, it's the end of a career, but it's the start of another part of his career.
End of the high school
and
career.
we wish him all well. Congrats to Gary Roosevelt, and also congratulations to Brebeuf. They did a marvelous job. Jerry Baker speaking for Tom Hessian. Hilliard Gates is alongside. It's been a long, hard day, and our special thanks to the crew members who made this telecast possible, and thanks to you for watching us. That's it. Final score again. It's 51-32. So long, everybody.
You've been watching another Indiana High School Athletic Association championship event. Your network sponsors were Indiana Bell and Ameritech Company. Farm Bureau Insurance, proud corporate sponsor of all IHSAA tournament events. Your local Indiana dairy farmer, winners drink milk. And Accent Herbicide. The accent is on tomorrow.